When I was about 11 or 12 years old, I stayed the night at my nan's house. She had lived there longer than I'd been alive. Actually, she was the first person to ever live in that house. But something about it never felt right, especially at night. It wasn't just me, either. My dad mentioned it too, how there was just this off feeling after the sun went down. It was so bad that when I was younger, I'd insist on sleeping in my nan's bed just to feel safe. But on this particular night, I was in the spare bedroom, the one right next to hers. I remember I'd never let myself be in total darkness in that room. The lamp on the nightstand to my left was always on. Always. And that night, I don't remember if I woke up or if I was already awake, but I looked over, and I froze. There, standing by the nightstand, was my nan. Or, someone who looked like her. But her eyes, they were pitch black, like endless voids. And she was smiling. Not a warm, kind smile like my nan's. No, this was something else, something that made my stomach twist. She was holding the lamp switch, and the light, it was off. I couldn't move. I couldn't breathe. It wasn't a dream, I know it wasn't. In sheer panic, I did the only thing I could think of. I pulled the blanket over my head, shaking, hoping that when I peeked out, she'd be gone. I waited what felt like forever, and when I finally dared to look, she was still there. Still smiling. Still watching me. I ducked back under the covers again, tears in my eyes, whispering to myself that this couldn't be real. And when I finally looked again, she was gone. The lamp was back on, the room just as I'd left it. I ran straight into her bedroom, crying and screaming, unable to even explain what I'd seen. She just asked me what was wrong, brushing it off like it was nothing. "You were dreaming," my family always said. But I know I wasn't. I was wide awake. I could move, I could think, it was real. Years later, before she passed away in May, I asked her about that night. Every time I did, her mood would change. She'd avoid the question, and for someone who could never get angry at me, it was like she didn't want to talk about it. She didn't believe in ghosts, or at least, that's what she told me. But one day, I overheard her talking to a neighbor. She mentioned seeing a little boy standing by the banister at the top of the stairs. That shook me. It wasn't just that night either. I had night terrors in that house, terrifying ones. Once, I woke up screaming in the spare room, ran to her room, and tried to jump out the window. I kept yelling, "The man is going to get me." But it was just the two of us in that house. No men. My granddad was never in my life or my dad's. To this day, I still don't know what happened. But I think about it all the time. Was it really her standing there that night? Or was it something else?